Sorry, I promised this video like a month ago and it's just now coming out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Faith and thank you so much for watching. I know I said this video was going to come out like a month ago, but then life got in the way and I had to delay it a little bit. But it is here now, so thank you for patiently waiting. In this video, I'm going to give you 60 book recommendations across 6 different genres: romance, romantasy, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, thriller, and mystery. And because there's so many, I want to just get right into it. However, I do need to give you a couple important disclaimers first. I'm filming each genre at a separate time, so you will see some lighting and outfit changes, and that's not a big deal, but I did just want to point that out. At the time I'm filming this, every single book that I'm about to give you has less than 2,000 ratings on Goodreads and has an average of 4 stars or more. And to the best of my knowledge, they are all indie or self-published. However, depending on when you see this, that may change because in 2 years, who knows, some of them may have been picked up by trad publishers. I have only read one of the 60 books that I'm about to give you, and I have not done extensive research on the books or the authors, so if any of them are problematic, I am not aware of that. So if they are, I apologize in advance for including them in this video. And if you've read these books and know that they're problematic, or if you read them from this video and find out that they're problematic, feel free to leave a comment below. If you're not interested in every genre, I will have timestamps in the description of when I talk about each genre, so refer to that so you can skip over the ones that you don't care for. I cannot memorize the summaries of 60 books, so if you see me looking to the side over here, that is me looking at my laptop reading the summaries that I have wrote for each book. Like I said, I have 60 book recommendations that I'm giving, so I can't spend that long on each book because even if I gave each one a minute, this video would be over an hour long. So this video is going to be kind of quickly paced. Some of these books I talk about more than others because I summarized what I saw people saying on social media and the Goodreads summary, and there's more information available for some books than others. So while I may talk about one book for 30 seconds, I may talk about another for 15. That has nothing to do with how good I think the book's gonna be. It's just because of how much information was available for each specific book. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any names. I have a very hard last name to pronounce. I think I can count on one hand the amount of people who have gotten it right on their first try. So understand when I say I understand what it's like having a hard to pronounce last name, and mispronouncing it is not intentional. And lastly, I'm not gonna give content warnings for every single book simply because I don't know what books have them and what books don't. So if you're somebody who needs to check for that, or you just like to check for that, that is something that you need to check yourself. And I think those are all the disclaimers that I need to give, so let's just get into it. We are starting with romance. First we have Broken Pieces by Yin Quiros. This is a workplace romance following Arya, who is hired by the CEO of the company, Damien. This story follows 2 broken people who are learning to love again. It is a grumpy sunshine romance and it does contain spice. It is the first book in an interconnected standalone series, and book 2 is available now. Then we have Summer's Echo by Robbie Renee. Summer and Echo spent a summer together as teens. After years of separation, they are brought back together for a reunion that makes them confront their unspoken feelings. This is a very slow burn, friends to lover story, and I can't find whether it contains spice or not. Next is 2 Weeks in Tahoe by Erica Everett. Layla returns to a quiet town searching for peace. There, she crosses paths with a boy from her teen years. She remembers him, but does he remember her? This is a small town second chance romance, and it does contain spice. It is book 1 in a series, and at the time of filming this, book 3 comes out in a couple weeks. Next is Rare Blend by Michelle Naomi Mosley. Marissa is forced to uproot her life and move to Red Mountain. Ethan, her not-so-friendly neighbor and the owner of the vineyard she is staying at, has a tough exterior that she's trying to crack, and it's working. This is a hate-to-love, forced proximity romance, and it does contain spice. It is book 1 in a series, and at the time of filming this, book 3 comes out in about a month. Next is Drop Shot by Vi Denton. Delilah is in desperate need of money and a doubles partner, so when 3-time Grand Slam winner Mateo offers to be her partner, she has no choice but to accept his offer. She realizes there's more to him than she thought, but she can't afford any distractions. This is a tennis romance, and it does contain spice, and it is book 1 in a series and is currently the only book released. Then we have Loved by You by Alexandria Lachelle. Vanessa finally has her life on track when Xavier steps back into the picture and tears down the walls she worked so hard to build. Will they be able to trust each other again after the heartbreak of their past? This is a slow burn second chance romance, and it does have some spice. This is book 1 in a series, and there is also a novella released. And I will say for this one, check content warnings. Next is Eliza from Scratch by Sophia Lee. Eliza is on her way to becoming salutatorian when somehow she ends up enrolled in a culinary arts class. Now clueless, her only hope is to beat her incredibly talented class partner Wesley in the midterm cooking contest. This is a heartwarming YA romance, and to my understanding, it contains no spice. Then we have Ski You Later by Ella McIvern. Rhodes is looking for a date to her family wedding, which she discovers her ex will be attending with her cousin. Roman, her grumpy ski captain, takes the role as her fake boyfriend. This is a fake dating ski romance, and it contains no spice. It is is book 1 in a series, and book 2 should be coming out soon. Of the 60 books that I'm giving you, this is the only one that I've read, and I'm including it because I loved it so much and it deserves way more hype, and I'm low-key mutuals with the author and she is a sweetheart. And I'm apologizing in advance for this next one because there is no way I'm gonna pronounce this right. Next we have I'll Pretend You're Mine by Tashi Boyan. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that. Summer is focusing on her own path after years of being shaped by her stage parents. When facing writer blocks, she agrees to a PR stunt with Jules, a playboy who used to be a child star. As time passes, lines blur between what is real and what's for the cameras. This is a fake dating, pop star, and actor romance, and it is YA, so I don't think that it contains spice. And the last romance book is Those Two Worlds by Ronnie Matthews. Joanna and Patrick were childhood best friends until they had a one-night stand and then Joanna left town. Now, 6 years later, she's back and must prove to both herself and Patrick that she deserves to stay. This is a single dad, second chance romance, and it does contain spice. It is book 1 in the Sutton Bay series, and book 4 was actually just published a couple days ago. Those are all the romance books, and I should have said this before, but if you have any recs that you would like to add to this, feel free to put those in the comments. And now we are moving on to Romantasy. And I will say I most likely will be mispronouncing a lot of the names in this section, so I apologize for that. First we have The Forgotten Dawn by Laura A. Blake. Bryda enters deadly fey trials, which she has no business being in, to win a cure for her dying father. Her deception is noticed by Danon, the Prince of Shadows. Bryda is forced to fight for her life in the trials and for the feelings that are evoked by the prince. This book does contain spice, and it is the first book in a series, and from what I can tell, it is the only book released in the series so far. Then we have Tusks, Tales, and Tea Cakes by T.L. Stone. Half-elf Lyra returns to a once lively tavern to retrieve something that she left in the basement, only to find that the tavern is now run down and the basement has been bricked over. With the help of some new friends, she works on restoring the tavern, but no matter how safe she may feel, danger is always lurking around the corner. This is a cozy fantasy with no spice. It is the first book in the series. Book 2 has been published and book 3 is coming out in January. Then we have Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan. Lena is looking for revenge after the soldiers took her brother. Instead, she finds Riot, a god-sworn warrior who's dragging her into his world. After being kissed by a goddess, all of the men in the kingdom are after the Lena and the power that she now holds. This is book 1 in the series. Book 2 hasn't been released yet, however, there is a prequel out, and I believe that it contains some spice. Then we have To Sway a Soul by Irene Chow. A painter's apprentice has 3 days to retrieve a stolen painting or else she will be killed. In order to get it back, she must team up with the art thief who stole it on behalf of the demon that enslaved his soul. This is a novella and it does have some suggested spice, however, there is no on-page spice. Next up is Darkness Births the Stars by Sarah Lee Wan. Noctis, once the god of darkness, has been condemned to mortality. Radha, once the goddess of light, has had her power stripped and she has been exiled. One day, Noctis shows up at her door, wounded and in need for help. Chaos is stirring, and Radha must decide if she can work with her enemy to save everything that she loves. This is book 1 in the series, and from what I can tell, it is the only book currently released, and I'm pretty sure it does contain some spice. Next up is Fangs of Fate by Rebecca Parcha. Tate is forced to list in the Gwara, which is like the vampire army, and while she's there, she realizes that their government is corrupt. Chance, who is the president's son, also discovers this, but he's being gaslight by his father into thinking that it's for the greater good. They have to choose to help their government or help everybody else. This is book 1 in the series. Book 2 has been published, and I don't know if there's any books coming after that, and it does contain spice. Then we have A Pocket of Lies by R.A. Sandpiper. Suri, a thief, is robbed one day by Cole and his accomplices. She has one day to pay off her large debt and decides that the solution is to impersonate the princess at the royal ball. But the Fey Lord of the Wastelands, aka Cole, crashes the ball to find the princess. The king discovers what Suri has done and exiles her unless she can kill Cole. However, Cole is also seeking revenge against her. This is book 1 in a series. There are currently 3 books published. I don't know if there will be more, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it contains spice. Next up is Destiny, A Path Marked by Sci-Fi Williams. A unicorn brings 2 orphan sisters into a corrupt magical realm. Their existence in this realm could alter everything because of the rare magic that they possess. This is a coming-of-age story, and it is the first book in a series. Book 2 has been published. Book 3 comes out at the end of this year, and from what I can tell, it does not contain spice. Next is When the Darkness Falls by Morgan Elise. After losing her memory 10 years ago, Maeva was adopted by a loving family until tragedy struck. General Amir is ordered to bring her to the Palace of Nightmares. While there, the king sends them both on a quest to bring back an ancient artifact that only Maeve can retrieve. This is book 1 in the series. Book 2 has not been released yet, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it contains spice. And the last Romantasy book is The Forgotten and the Feared by E.C. Garrett. Two sisters have to participate in the Gauntlet, which is a deadly tournament run by the Fae, where both humans and dragons are forced to fight. Amalia finds herself falling for a Gauntlet trainer, while Diana finds herself falling for another Gauntlet candidate. Amalia must decide whether to accept her birthright or to stay hidden in the shadows. This is book 1 in a series, and a novella and book 2 have been released, and I'm not sure if there will be more books after that. And from what I can tell, this one does contain spice. Those are all the Romantasy books. I'm sorry that they're all series, but I searched for literally over 4 hours and couldn't find a single standalone. Now let's get into fantasy, and like with Romantasy, I will probably botch a lot of these names, so I apologize in advance. And to preface, I did my best to make sure these aren't Romantasy, and that if there is romance, it is a subplot, but I cannot promise that because I haven't read it. But yeah, to my knowledge, none of these have romance as like a main part of the story. First, we have Depths of Vanoth by Brady Hunsaker. Vanoth is a cave filled with monsters that gives those who survive its depths magic powers. Halleck wants to go to the cave to get powers to save his father when monsters start showing up around the island. This means that the shields keeping the monsters in the cave have failed, and to restore them, they must face the cave. This is book 1 in a series, and I'm pretty sure book 2 isn't out yet. Then we have Dreams of the Dying by Nicholas Letsua. I apologize if I said that wrong. Ex-mercenary Jesper has been given an invitation to an empire that is on the brink of a civil war. The only person that can prevent the war is the king, who has slipped into a coma. Jesper must figure out who or what caused it before it's too late. And this is book 1 in a series, and book 2 has been published. Next is The Crimson Court by Brendan Noble. Keziah is set on destroying the Crimson Court after they killed her father. In order to take down the immortal spirits, she must seek help in a place where everyone is full of secrets. This is book 1 in a series, and book 2 and a prequel are both available now. Then we have City of Stone by K.T. Holder. Cass is sent to the labor camps after he was caught stealing. 8 years later, he is out of the camps and in a land that is preparing for war, and his little brother is the leader of the rebellion. Cass and his team must figure out how to stop the war before it's too late. This is book 1 in the series, and book 2 is available. Next is The Witch at the Edge of the Wood by Liz Delton. With silver hair and pointy ears, Valena is searching for a witch who can give her a normal life. She finds the witch's cottage, but there's no witch. She decides to make herself at home when someone comes knocking in need of help. I'm 99% sure that this one is a standalone. Next is The Breaking of Realms by Jasmine Young. When a dragon hatchling falls from another realm right into Skalda's lap, she must decide whether to kill it or become the worst criminal in the realm, a rogue dragon rider. But this is no ordinary dragon, and unfortunately, Skalda realizes that too late. This is book 1 in a series, and book 4 was released a few months ago. Next is Time Marked Warlock by Shami Stovall. Adair is not only the most powerful warlock in the world, but he is also one of the best detectives until he loses a case, which in turn makes him lose his brother. He's given up until a 12-year-old knocks on his door with news that her mother was murdered and the killer is after her. This is book 1 in a series, and both book 2 and 3 are available now. Next is The Nine Realms by Emily N.K. Robbins. Centuria wakes up in the Ice Realm with no recollection of who she is or how she got there. Through her newfound friends, she learns stories and secrets that turn her against the king of the Southern Star Realm. During the Greentime Ball, her life is changed forever. I'm pretty sure this is book 1 in a series, but I can't find information about other books in the series. Then we have Deathborn by S.K. Linfear. After her sister has fallen ill with a plague, Nadria, with others' help, sneaks away and heads north, hoping to find a cure. Her and her group are faced with more danger than they prepared for during their quest. And like the last one, I think this is a series, but I can't find information about other books in the series. And the last fantasy book we have is The Last Ranger by J.D.L. Rosell. Lane is a ranger that protects the colonies from the Titans. Sadly, nothing can protect from treason, and one night tragedy strikes and Lane swears to avenge her fallen rangers. But in order to do so, she must accept her powers. This is book 1 in the series, and there are 4 books and a prequel available. Those are all the fantasy books, and again, I'm sorry that they're pretty much all in a series, but like with all the other genres, feel free to leave your recs. We are moving on to sci-fi, and again, I apologize because I probably will be mispronouncing names. First, we have Imperious Realm by Athene Z. Adam. The population is coming to a standstill as adults are dying off and children are stuck in their young bodies, unable to reproduce. This is a dark fate by Sergen and his mother, who are trapped in their home by their father. This book has heavy content warnings, and it is the first book in a series, and book 2 and 3 are available now. Then we have Those Left Behind by N.C. Scrimgour. Alvaria is on a mission searching the stars for a new home for humanity, a mission that is much harder than she thought it would be. Alien way stations may be her only hope, or they could bring the attention of those who built them. And this is the first book in a completed trilogy. Next is Into the Darkness by Charles Hack. The princess has went missing, and all that's left of her is her spaceship. Major Malcolm and his crew are sent to investigate, but will they be able to find the princess beyond the evil lurking in the shadows? This is book 1, and book 2 has been published. Then we have Chloe Chloe's Kingdom, The Coin Vault Heist by Gregory Michael. Once rich, now poor, Chloe is a thief on the Spaceship City. She's given the offer to execute a massive heist with a team of people that will make her rich, rob the treasury, and bring down the council. And I believe this one is a standalone. Then we have Mission of the Roark by Erica Everin. When an enemy arises, K-Trix is given the best starship to defend the Arcarian Alliance. Amidst all of the chaos, K-Trix discovers a secret that could destroy the Alliance. He wants to prove his worth, but will he destroy his morality to do it? And this is book 1 in a series, and I cannot find any information out about book 2. Next is The Forsaken Planet by Brian Wilson. An aircraft splits the skies, and it is revealed that humans reside on other planets and they have immense powers. A prophecy is uncovered telling of the humans' demise. Colton, who is a part of the prophecy, is headed to the capital where he must embrace his potential to secure his safety. This is book 1 in a series, book 2 is available, and book 3 came out earlier this year. Then we have Umbra by Amber Toro. Earth is no more, and humans are split into 12 tribes under the United Tribal Axis, but there's a threat that could destroy it all. An admiral, a commander, and a rogue must work together to save humanity. And this book does contain a slow burn enemies to lovers romance. It is book 1 in a trilogy, and book 2 came out earlier this year. Then we have Warm-Blooded by Jay Green. Kieran was accepted into the hero program. Those who aren't accepted are branded as villains if they use their powers. In his first year, disaster strikes and the world is quickly turned into heroes versus villains. But are the villains really just victims? This is book 1 in the series, and book 2 comes out in a couple months. Then we have Plum Rains by Andromeda Romano Lax. Angelica is a caretaker for the almost 100-year-old Sayoko. Sayoko is given a caretaken robot by her son, leaving Angelica worried about the need for her job. Angelica fights back while Sayoko becomes more attached to the machine. And I believe this one is a standalone as well. And the last sci-fi book is To Avenge a Fallen Star by Kiana Quinn. Centuries after humans left the Milky Way, the descendants of criminals are forced to live in exile on a harsh red planet. After the death of her sister, Gemma joined the rebellion, and it's now her turn to face the trials that could grant her her freedom. This is book 1 in a series, and book 2 is unreleased. Those are all the sci-fi books. Again, I apologize that most of them are series. Moving on to horror, for some reason I chose to do this at 11:50 p.m. So catch me having nightmares tonight. And sorry if I'm squinting, there's a bright light right above the camera, and it is blinding me, guys. For all of these books, I do advise you to look at the content warnings because some of these do have much darker themes. And a couple of these summaries are pretty short because I'm summarizing the Goodreads summaries, so when they're short already, I have to shorten them more, so yeah. The first book is I'll Pray For You by Sierra Waugh. A woman is seeking revenge on all of those who wronged her, and she hunts them down, turning from prey to predator. And from what I can tell, this is a very intense splatterpunk novella. Then we have Eyes of Sleeping Children by D.A. Butcher. Lewis wakes up to find that his son has vanished without a trace. Him and his wife search tirelessly for him, with their only clue being his son saying, "Don't let the Sandman get me." Then we have Cicada by Tanya Pell. Ash goes to a film festival where they're showing a movie about a killer cicada, only to realize that people in real life are being killed and they aren't allowed to leave. This one is book 4 in a series, however each book is by a different author, and to my understanding they can be read as a complete standalone. Then we have The Curse of Brayborn Manor by E.R. Vickers. Lily and her partner become stranded at an abandoned mansion where the spirits inside are intent on not letting them leave. Will they be able to uncover the secrets that will set them free, or is it their fate to be trapped in the manor forever? Next is The Odds by Jeff Strand. Ethan takes a massive loss at a casino when he's approached by a stranger with an offer to play a game. He has a 99% chance of winning $10,000 or a 1% chance of getting his arm shattered. While the odds start in his favor, as the game continues, the stakes rise and his odds decrease. There is no quitting, only finishing the game. Then we have The Old Lady by Christopher Triana. Alicia was wandering in the woods with her friends when they stumble upon a cabin run by extremists. Alicia is the only one to escape, and she manages to find Tracy, a woman whose childhood was riddled with brutal survival training. Alicia now has a protector, but is Tracy more dangerous than the people who have her friends? Next is Beneath These Walls by Shade Owens. After her husband tried to kill her, a woman moves to an old family house with her sons. Strange things keep happening that make the woman believe that she is being watched. She thought that they would be safe there, but now she isn't so sure. She just knows she has to protect her children. Next is The Inn-Sitter by Heather Myhawk. Temperley finds a job looking after a closed-down inn in the Virginia mountains. Strange things start happening, like banging in the middle of the night and flickering of the lights. She turns to the town's paranormal expert for help, and each secret uncovered is more disturbing than the last. And this one is YA, so I'm assuming it's more tame than the rest of the books on this list. Next is Hush My Darling by Leigh Kennedy, and this one has a very short description. An American tourist gets stranded in the Irish mountains and a family comes to rescue her, but are they really there to help, or do they have ulterior motives? And the last book we have is Viral Lives by Felix I.D. DeMero. One night, a gore reporter named Simon sees a man dying in the street, and instead of helping him, he films it because he knows it will go viral on the dark web. Which it does. Soon after, his phone starts being weird. People have received text messages that he swears he hasn't sent, and alarms are going off that he never turned on. And now all of his secrets are at risk of being exposed. Has he just been hacked, or did his phone capture a dead man's spirit? It is now 12:03 p.m. and I probably will be having nightmares after this. Those are all the horror thriller books. I know they were mostly horror, but that is because a lot of the mystery books are also thrillers. So I'm gonna go have nightmares, but you guys should stay tuned for the next genre. And now we have the mystery books. First we have Sins of the Lines by Sharonda Exantis. Nia is about to be inducted into her dream sorority when she goes missing. Detective Chris Evans has to help find her, and the only clue is her abandoned car. As he does more digging, he realizes that Nia is hiding quite a few secrets. Next is Someone Who Knows by J.L. Ross. Sarah has the haunting ability to see through a killer's eyes, and she must embrace this ability to catch the killer before she becomes the next victim. And there is a prequel to this that is from her mom's point of view. Next is Her Sister's Secret by Toni LaRue. Raven's sister committed suicide. Or did she? The authorities don't care, so Raven takes matters into her own hands. But the more truths that she uncovers about her sister, the more danger she's in. Next is Spider to the Fly by J.H. Marker. Elliot writes a book about a serial killer called The Spider after learning that one of his victims was her doppelganger. And 4 years later, she has helped create a database that tracks people who are at high risk of being a target. After Ellie's therapist is arrested for the murders, Ellie is more determined than ever to find the real spider. Then we have Missing or Dead by Paulina Quinn. Talia discovers something sinister after going to a psychic following the disappearance of her father and her sister. Slipping into paranoia, she joins a deceitful organization. Is she close to uncovering what happened to her father and sister, or is she falling into a trap? Next is With One Stone by Mark Jenkins. Nina used to be a best-selling psychological thriller author, but her once perfect life now sits in shambles. Her family will do anything to get her back to the top, including kill for her. Nina fears that she is to blame for the murders and that she could be the next victim. Next is Gone by Dawn by H.K. Christie. Val is one of the 2 women to have survived the serial killer known as the Bear. Forced to return home to recover, a local teen goes missing the next day, and Val won't sleep until the teen is returned safe. But first, she needs to figure out if the bear followed her home. This is book 1 in a series, and book 2 and 3 are available now. Next is Flight 725 by Kaylin Hunt and Octavia Grant. After a flash of light, a passenger on Flight 725 is dead. And it wasn't an accident. The passengers realize that they're trapped with the killer, and with the victim count rising, they need to find out who it is before it's too late. Next is A Body at the Book Fair by Elliot Alexander. Bookseller Annie is on the brink of opening her own detective agency, still haunted by the unsolved murder of her best friend nearly a decade ago, when a colleague is murdered at a book fair that she's attending. Will catching the killer distract her from finally solving her best friend's murder? Or is this the key she needed to solve the case? And lastly is Whisking Up Whodunits by Eliza Floretta. Emma is determined to prove that her best friend's husband's death was actually murder. Her granddaughter Chloe arrives at her lake house after a fight with her mother. Chloe decides to help Emma, and as they discover more clues, things get more dangerous. Are they closer to the killer than they thought? Those are all the mystery books, and for some reason, those were a lot harder to summarize than all the other books. So I encourage you to actually go look at the book on Goodreads or something to see the actual summary for the book. So those are all 60 book recs, and I hope you found at least 1 or 2 that you liked and added to your TBR. If you didn't, I apologize. If you have any recs, or if you wrote a book and want to give it a shout out, feel free to leave that in the comments below. While I'm filming this, I have no idea how long this video ended up being, but I'm sure it's probably my longest video yet, so I'm pretty much just gonna leave it at that. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram and my TikTok, which are both linked in the description below for more bookish content. You guys should also go check out my mom's website where she sells her homegrown loofah products. 10 out of 10 recommend. They are literally amazing and so much better for the environment than a normal plastic crappy loofah. But anyways, I hope you have a fantastic day. Love you guys. Bye!